Monmouth College's Communication Department features a television workshop course where students can engage in the journalism process. Students are assigned stories to cover at the workshop and are responsible for shooting, editing, and writing the story's script. The stories are then broadcast on Monmouth College's weekly news program, This Week. Chris Goebel, advisor for Monmouth's television station, MCTV, says the station was a student-driven idea.
Basically, a student, it was the second semester I was here, a student came back from her internship and was really interested in us trying to do something with news. And we started doing a monthly program with a workshop class. So we did basically 3 shows that spring semester, once a month. And then we did that for another year. Doing once a month with students who were in this workshop. Also doing news, sports, and doing what we would call entertainment, short film sort of stuff. And then after that year, we started doing it weekly. So, I mean, it took a little bit to build up and have enough people who were interested in doing it to be able to think that we could do it weekly. Which is probably about as often as we could do it with what we've got going on.
While MCTV began by covering campus-only events and activities, it has continued to evolve in its 8 years on campus. With student involvement at an all-time high, Goebel expects this trend to continue.
Well, I mean, beyond going to and being able to maintain weekly shows, I think what we've also done is start to try to reach out into the community and do more stories that aren't just campus events, because that's really all we were doing at the beginning. So I mean, I think it's grown that way, potentially growing into something that would be of interest to people who are not directly related to campus but be interested in what's going on in Monmouth. And then just the improvement of the structure of the show, having the set, looking a little bit more professional than we were before. I think that's the big things. It's just an ever-evolving process trying to get where we're doing good quality stuff.
Besides the opportunity to learn about television news, MCTV and the corresponding television workshop course at Monmouth College teach students valuable skills for success in the workforce. One's interpersonal communication, punctuality, availability, creativity, and public speaking skills are vastly improved by participating in campus television.
I think there's 2 things. I mean, to the broader on-campus audience and then interested off-campus, it's a way for them to see what's going on, especially when you're in a smaller town where there's not a lot of regular news coverage. It gives that element of a television news coverage of what's going on campus. And then to the students who are involved in it, I think it gives them an appreciation for the responsibility of trying to get news out to people and trying to tell an accurate and correct story, all the things that would go into any good journalistic effort. The students who do that, I think, hopefully get an appreciation for that, if not some skill and ability to do that.
Not all factors involved in television news take place in front of the camera. Skillful writing is an often overlooked quality essential to producing a successful news story. The key is not to merely tell viewers an event occurred, it is to inform them what they missed out on by not attending the event. A crafty script can make a poorly attended event seem captivating or tell a story from an entirely new angle.
Well, I hope, short term, what we continue to do is do a better job of becoming more of a wider community newscast and less just campus events. And, I mean, beyond that, simply being a show that and a part of the department and a part of the college and a part in general of the school that gains more and more respect and becomes respected as a journalism piece, and where we can move to potentially being in contests and being seen as one of the people who do this well in colleges.
Monmouth College communication instructor Joe Angotti was formerly the head of NBC News and says there are many ways to reach the top in the television industry.
When I was an undergraduate student at Indiana University, I was majoring in speech therapy and took as an elective course one semester in my junior year a class in radio and television news writing. And I enjoyed it immensely and realized that I probably could do pretty well in this profession if I chose to do that. So I did. I went on and I changed my major, went to graduate school, majored in journalism, and then went on to do a whole variety of things in the business.
And Gotti has been a phenomenal addition to the Monmouth College communication faculty and serves as a reminder of how times have changed in the media field.
My first job when I left college was at WHAS Radio in Louisville, Kentucky. My first responsibility was on the overnight radio shift, where I wrote and read radio newscasts for an early morning country music show, where everything was live. Everything was live. There was a live country music band. There were live commercials. Everything was done live, unheard of these days. So that was my first experience in broadcasting at WHAS in Louisville, Kentucky. From Louisville, I went to Chicago, where I was a writer and producer on the local news. I did that for 2 years. Then I became a field producer on the network news for the Midwest Bureau, which I covered, I think at the time, 8 to 10 states in the Midwest. And I stayed there in that capacity for about 4 or 5 years, and then went to New York. My first job in New York was producer of the weekend news. And from there I went to executive producer of the weekday news, and then I went to executive producer of news specials, and then I left production and went to the administrative side and was senior vice president of news for about 2 years before I left there.
And Gotti feels lessons learned in television news are invaluable.
The process of putting together a television story incorporates all aspects of education as far as I'm concerned. You have to do research on the subject to begin with. You then have to go out and talk to people, arrange for interviews, decide whether or not an interview is newsworthy or not, decide whether or not it can provide information that the public needs to know. And then there's the technical aspects, which are very important as well. Learning how to shoot video, learning how to edit video, putting it all together into a package that explains and tells a story to people. All of those things are part of what education is all about, as far as I'm concerned. And television, in particular, incorporates all of those aspects of the educational process.
To learn more about MCTV or the Monmouth College Communication Program, log on to monmouthcollege.edu/MCTV or contact Chris Goebel at cgoebel@monmouthcollege.edu.